Yo, what's poppin'? Welcome to Bhroman Braapsody. This is where we review cars and motorcycles. Today we are back at Motorcycles of Greensboro with guess who? The one person, the one and only.
Oh my.
It's the professor. How are you, professor?
I'm doing well, bro. How are you, man?
I'm living the dream, sir.
Welcome back home.
Thank you. This is my second home, sure.
For sure.
And what do we have in front of us, professor?
What we have here, bro, is truly, honestly, and we all know that I'm a superbike guy, right?
Yes.
Race, all that, no. But anyways, this is one of my favorite motorcycles, hands down, period. This is a 2022 Multistrada V4S.
And in today's episode, we're going to talk about the bike. We're going to see some of its cool features. I'll take it out on the road, share my thoughts with you guys, talk about the cost of ownership, assign it a Bhromance score. But before we do any of that, if you're new to Bhroman, give us a like and click that subscribe button. We put out content every week, and your support will mean a lot. It's me, it's your boy Bro, and I am your Bhroman.
The whole Multistrada lineup from the 2010 to today is one of my favorite motorcycles. Here's the reason why. Because although in my youth I enjoyed being thin and being able to put a super bike into a corner and participate in races and so on and so forth, there's a point in time in life where you just can't ride that super bike 10 hours a day, right? Yeah. Your youth leaves you, and you don't mold to that positioning quite as well anymore. In 2010, Ducati decided that in order to cater to people like me, they wanted to put a bike out there that would, in essence, cater to someone like me and also answer the question that nobody really ever asked, which is, I have 13 motorcycles in my garage, one for the dirt, one for the highway, one for the track, one for off-roading, one for taking my wife out for lunch, for Sunday brunch. I'd like to be able to get all those bikes out of my garage and have only one bike that does it all, and it does it well. The Multistrada was born. Back then, it was the bike that was 4 bikes in one. The Multistrada has had 4 different riding modes since its launch in 2010. Now, the previous models, the Terre Blanche design, didn't have modes. So the Multistrada with the 4 modes, the 4 modes are urban, touring, sport and enduro. And they're not gimmicks. The Multistrada does, in each mode, the Multistrada does take on a different personality. A lot of it has to do with throttle openings and so on and so forth. Then ride-by-wire was introduced. Now we got a TFT that's bigger than my TV at home, so you can watch the NFL on it on Sunday. Cruise control was added, traction controls and ABS and cornering ABS. And the bike has always been a phenomenal performing motorcycle, especially since I'm a road-biased kind of guy. With the 17-inch front wheels, basically it was a sport bike with handlebars, and you could do track days and you could do slight off-roading with it. So the only bike really that I've ever known that would allow you to do both of those at a relatively high level. And now we went from a twin, first it was a 1200, then it was a 1260, now it's a V4. And what Ducati has done too with this one is it's the very first motorcycle since I know of, that does not have a desmodromic valve actuation.
Yes.
This bike actually has springs that close the valves. Why? Well, spring technology has gotten so good that it's hard to argue that desmodromic is still better.
It's probably the same platform that gets shared across the Panigale, maybe tuned a little differently.
For sure, definitely tuned differently. Seems like though that Ducati has been launching new technology on the Multistrada first, and then from that, it makes its way down to other models. Gotcha. Things like quick shifters and TFTs, and now we have Bluetooth connectivity with if you got to download the app. By the way, you got to download My Ducati app. And connect through the dashboard to the motorcycle and just let it take you on the tour that it wants to take you. So
under all of these fairings sits an 1158cc 4-cylinder, putting out 170 horsepower and a 92 foot-pound of torque. It only weighs about 530 pounds. It's got saddlebags, hard saddlebags.
Right.
And I'm assuming you can get a trunk as well if you wanted to.
Yeah, there is a mounting bracket that would be bolted onto this part, and then there is a box that would basically act as a trunk with a backrest to it, so the passenger can be comfortable behind that.
Got it.
Yeah, weight centralization is a new thing for Ducati. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you can see this, but these bags do move based on cornering. The engineers thought that it would help centralize and smoothen out your cornering. A first in the industry. I've never seen anything quite like it before.
That's super cool, man.
Nice, yeah, a cool feature.
All right, so starting off from the front of this motorcycle, it's got LED lights up front, the little beak, and then if you come to the side, it has dual discs up front with the inverted front forks that really aids in handling. Combine that with the 24.5-degree rake angle that this bike has, this is gonna make handling a breeze. What's the rake angle, you ask? Well, draw perpendicular from the steering mount, follow the fork tube. That angle is the rake angle. The smaller the rake angle, the more nimble the bike is. Larger the rake angle, the more stable it is at higher speeds, and such. On the side of the fairing, it tells you it's a Multistrada V4S. The beautiful red color and the little contrast red and gray, love it. You have these little fins for your air intake. That's your radiator behind there. Down below you have the V4 engine sitting there doing its thing. As for the seats, we have a nice comfortable deep cut seat here. What are these buttons, you ask? Well, these are your heated seats for your passenger, low and high. For the rider's heated seats, you can control it from the main screen. This bike looks beautiful from the side, no doubt. I love the color, the black and the red. Moving on to the back, you have a single tail light, LED turn signals. And Paul says, excuse me. The license plate bracket down below. And this also has your hard saddlebags. These can be locked. To unlock the saddlebags, put your key in, turn it open, lift this up, pull it up, and boom. So these saddlebags open sideways, and these are pretty deep. This is a pretty decent deep saddlebag here. Good amount of space, and you get this little tie down. Down below you have the monoshock suspension underneath the trellis frame. This comes with a side stand and the center stand, so you can stand it up if you want to. Moving on to the top of the tank here, there's a little storage space down below that opens up. You got a decent amount of space here, a USB outlet for your charging, and this, you got enough space here to put your key in. This is the Ducati Multistrada key. This is what you'd use to open the saddlebags. For this bike, you have keyless ignition, so you gotta turn this thing around and that'll start the bike up. For your controls on this side, you have your passing beams here, hazard buttons there, cruise control, suspension settings, riding modes, turn signals. This is to toggle through the menu and your horn. On the right hand side, you have your kill switch, starter button, and your driving lights. On top here you have this little TFT screen, and you have a windshield. This can be manually adjusted, so pull this up, boom, it goes up. You want it to go down, pull it up and push it down, boom. Now let's turn it on, and as you can see, you have lights, your warning lights on the side. Oh, and there's that Multistrada graphic there. You have lights on the side for high beams, ABS, traction control, turn signals, check engine light, low fuel, low gas, low oil, all of that goodies here. And then this is your main screen. You have a fuel gauge on top, tells you your time. You have your tachometer, which gear you're on, digital speedometer, gives you your miles on the bike, the range on the bike, and trip one, outside temperature, DRLs, your engine oil temperature, and these give you your various settings. Quick shifter is on, traction control is at level 5, ABS is at 5, wheelie control is at 3. and in the middle is your driving mode or riding mode, and then here you have your settings. So let's play around with it a little bit. If I move the toggle stick, you can go through settings menu, phone, heated seat, music, adaptive cruise control, Ducati Connect, settings menu, and such. So if you go into adaptive cruise control, you can set up your distances. Do you want it far, medium, near? You have heated seats, you can turn them on or off. Different settings, low and high, the two settings. For riding modes, you have urban, sport, touring, and enduro, the 4 modes, and each mode has these customizable settings here. You can you have traction control, ABS, wheelie control, front suspension, preload, and quick shifter. Go into your settings menu, and you can play around with a bunch of stuff. And you can also have a pin code. So if you don't have the keys on you, you can enter a pin code and get the bike to start. Then you also have blind spot detection. You can turn your blind spot detection on or off. How cool is that? It also tells you when your service is due, and you have a lap timers, and you can calibrate your tires. Now they're spelled tire with the Y because it's a European bike. That's pretty cool. Also, you can play around with the suspension and the preloads. You have rider plus baggage, rider passenger baggage, or you could leave it at auto and let the computer do its job. So Professor, can you tell my viewers a little bit about Motorcycles of Greensboro?
Absolutely. Motorcycles of Greensboro is unlike any other dealership, because to me, dealership means pushy salespeople. We're trying to squeeze as much money out of the customer as possible, all that kind of stuff. Here, we're not that place.
Yeah.
Here, we are a motorcycling enthusiast center where we love to be able to have fellow motorcyclists come in and share their stories, share their experiences, voice their concerns if there is anything like that. Obviously, because we have technicians inside. If they have issues with their motorcycles, great, we can help them out with that as well. This comes from just having been around motorcycles every day, all day, for at least the past 25 years of my life.
Yeah.
Combined here between Paul, myself, Andrew, Troy, Ned, we probably have about 300 years of motorcycling experience, which is quite a bit to be said. Everyone is welcome, whether you ride a European motorcycle or not. Come on in, share your stories.
And who do they have to say send them here, Professor?
Bro, it would really be nice if they told us that the Bhromance sent them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't we do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell them the Bhromance sent you, and they'll take care of you. This is the Multistrada. We've done a few other Ducatis. What Ducati should I do next? Tell me. Let us know what should we cover next.
Well, that's a new one. I like that.
Let's ask them.
Yeah. What are they interested in, right?
Well, thank you, Professor. This has been awesome. Anytime I'm here, time just seems to fly.
Yeah, I know.
And speaking of time, though, do you know what time it is?
Bro, it's right o'clock, man.
Yes, sir. It's right o'clock. Let's go.
All right.
If you're new to Bhroman, give us a like and hit that subscribe button. We put out content every week, and your support would mean a lot. Alright, let's make a couple of U-turns and see how it maneuvers, shall we? La la la. Tall bike, but light bike. U-turns are no problem at all. No problem at all. Love it. Let's go ahead and put it in sport mode. Let's do our second test. Let's do our pull test. See how this puppy pulls, shall we? Yeah, boy, it's a Ducati. It's a Ducati. What else would you expect? First impressions of this bike. I'm sitting up quite upright. The handlebars are nice and comfy here. The seat is comfortable. My legs aren't bent weirdly at all. I have this little bit of a windshield here that's blocking a lot of wind off of my body and torso. A lot of wind. The brakes are awesome. The brakes are really awesome. Now this is a tall bike. I can flat foot it with one leg very easily. If I try to do it with two, I'm a bit on my tippy toes here. And today we have a friend. It's the professor on his monster. We have the professor on his monster. Oh, I love the sound of this bike, man. Woo. Now at the end of the day, it's a Ducati. So what you get with the Ducati is the soul, the sound. It's got pretty much the same engine as the V4, the Panigale V4, but this is tuned down, of course. The balance on this bike is just phenomenal. It's awesome. It's really awesome. I love how this bike sounds too. It's such a sweet sound. Such a sweet sound. It makes such an amazing sweet sound. I love this seat, man. I love this seat. It's big and it's got a nice deep cut to it. You feel like your butt is planted in there. Let's check out the suspension. We are in sports mode, so not too bad. Not bad, actually. Lean this bike like it's nobody's business. You can do so many awesome things with this bike. It's really cool. It's really cool. Now don't get me wrong, this has a lot of power. 170 horses, man. That's a lot of power. So this is not something to be trifled with at all. Let's try this. Look, can I change modes on the fly? I think I should be able to. Let's say I want urban. Okay, close throttle, and boom, we're in urban mode. We are in urban mode. Oh, and this has heated seats. My butt is getting warmed. Quick shifter, hands here. So, is this bike a good bike for commuting? Yeah, I think it's great for commuting. The seat is really comfortable, lots of power, good amount of wind protection, upper body wind protection. It's got your saddlebag, so you can put stuff in there, your work laptop and stuff. So yeah, great for commuting. Is it a good bike for touring? I think it should be a great bike for touring. Now you can get a tool pack or your luggage case for the top pack, the top case, and that'll complete the touring look of this motorcycle. And the power and the handling of this bike is just amazing. So combine all of those. Yep, this should be a great touring motorcycle if you like the sport touring kind. Yep, very much so. Is this a good bike for beginners? Nope, not at all. Not in the least. No Ducati is a good beginner bike in my opinion. 170 horses with the V4 engine, the same from the Superbike? Yeah, absolutely not. And this costs you a pretty penny too, so 25,000 or something in that range. Yeah, this is not a beginner bike. Nope, not at all. Let's head to the punk and talk about the cost of ownership and score, shall we?
This would require a break-in service at 600 miles and then the oil change service every 9,000 miles. And the valve adjustments on this motorcycle, since it's gone to that spring technology away from the Desmodromic, your valve service intervals are 38,000 miles. And the oil change service at your local Ducati dealer should cost you about 400 bucks. A set of tires on this motorcycle should get you somewhere in the 7,000 to 8,000 mile range. A lot of it is going to depend upon how you ride it. The more you rip it, the sooner they're gonna go. A set of tires for this motorcycle front and rear should be around 600 bucks. So your cost of ownership over a 2-year period, assuming you ride 5,000 miles a year, would be the break-in service and the 9,000 mile service and a set of new tires for a total of 1,400. Divided by the number of days, that's about $1.90 a day. Let's assign it a score, shall we? On the looks, it's a 9 out of 10. On the Braap, it's a 9 out of 10. On the maintenance, it's an 8 out of 10, and on the comfort, it's a 9 out of 10, for a combined Bhromance score of 8.75 out of 10. You didn't expect a Ducati to be as low maintenance as this one is, right? This is the amazing thing they've achieved through the engineering and stuff. 9,000 miles service intervals and a 38,000 mile valve adjustment or valve service interval. That's amazing. Back to the Mini.
So in conclusion, this bike, the Multistrada V4S, is Ducati's sport touring bike, and it has all of those elements of a Ducati. It's got a lot of power, it handles really well, and this is quite comfortable as well. It's a comfortable bike, it's a very practical bike. You can carry stuff around, you can go touring. It handles like a champ, man. Oof. You can have a lot of fun. This is just like the professor said, this bike can do pretty much what this one bike alone can do, what a lot of other bikes would do separately. You get a little bit of a sports bike, you get a little bit of touring, you get a little bit of this adventure style riding of setting up really high up above the ground. So yeah, I really like this bike, and this is something I'm starting to do. Is like, is this a bike that I would buy if it were me? I think I really would. I would. Is this the bike for you? Well, head on down to your closest Ducati dealer and take one for a spin. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bro out.